Hello, lollies and jelly beans. I'm Melanie Florence, and I got a thing on a spring. And this is Hot Tea Tarot. So, today I'm going to do some tutorials. We're going to go into the actual minor arcana. So, I'm going to be breaking down the tarot deck. I've been reading the tarot for 25 years. I actually learned with the Greenwood, which is over here on the table, the one that I don't have in view. And you'll see I've got a lot of decks on the table because a lot of decks have been collected. I was given a lot of decks this last year. My deck collection expanded like dramatically. So what you might see is I've got a whole heap of cards on the table. What I've got is the aces. So today I'm going to go through all of the aces, the ones, and talk about what they're about, right? So it's not miscellaneous. Every deck has a slightly different perspective, and this is sort of why I'm doing this, because the Greenwood, which I learn on, some of its meanings are totally different to what's come up in the other decks as I've gone through this process. I also want to show you the decks because you don't know what you're into. Sometimes it's like, what do I like, and what might you want to get. First, I'm going to talk to you and about like how this rolls and what we do. So I've got a video that I'm going to do on the setting up, and you'll see that at the setup and what's inside of that. And we'll talk about like getting decks and those sort of things in that video. But this one we're going to start up with the aces, right? So I've got the Tarot Bible out because, as I said, each one's got a different thing, but we're also going to look back and see what the actual, the full reading, what it says inside of here. So I'm going to start today, because I usually start, if you see my stuff, with our fire elements. So I usually do fire, air, water, and earth, and that's how I go through the elements. So every book goes through the elements different. The Gaia book will go different to the Light Seers tarot oracle tarot. The Oracle Tarot is different to the Witcher Tarot, how they put them in the book in the order. So that's an interesting thing. But for how I do it, I sort of go fire, air, water, earth. And so sort of start fiery, inspiration, end up a bit grounded. Is actually how I always read the elements. So I'm going to put this aside for just a second. And the first ace that I'm going to talk to you today is the Ace of Wands, right? This is the original Golden Tarot deck. So the Ace of Wands. So here I've got a whole heap of decks. This is a vice versa deck where we see this inspiration starting here and we see the lightning behind it. So it really is showing this, that there's a spark of inspiration and there's a lightning change in the background of it here. The Gaia deck always represents with a dragon on the ace, because it's a one. It is the Gaia is a dragon oracle, it's a dragon deck, really, Gaia. And this is sort of the spider is weaving. It's weaving our fortune. It's weaving its web. It's weaving, and it's active in its succession, right? So I'll show you a few more of these ones as we go through. The Witch's Tarot is really interesting because it actually puts flowers on the wand, and I thought that was a really cute. And the Ace of Wands, because we're talking about inspiration again, if we're talking about the Animal Totem Tarot, is a firefly inside of there that we're talking about. So maybe there, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to talk about the qualities of what it is. And we might read it from a couple of different books so that we can get some perspective on what the actual fire element is, because we're really talking about a spark of inspiration. So we're going to have a look from the Tarot Bible. Let's open up the Tarot Bible. Let's see what they put first. Wands, see? They put wands, and I put manifester in there. So we're manifesting things. Okay, bookmarks with my cards. Perfect, right? So it talks about, like all aces of wonder, suggesting initiation of a new virtue and a sense of wonder and a newness at the beginning of something afresh. But because the wands are about energy and action, this card signifies doing something out there in the external world to get results. It's not just about thinking inspirational thoughts, but actually acting upon them too. It is you now, the position of the Ace of Wands, that suggests it's in a you now position. The Ace of Wands suggests that there is a spirit of enterprise that is now yours to play with, whether it's a creative idea or it's been lurking in the back of your mind. A sudden gush of optimism or a courage is courage, it is time to take action on the feeling of enthusiasm. Alternatively, in the future position, it indicates that there is great opportunities and exciting events on offer. It's up to you to push forward on what you want to take a lead and show you what your business means. This card also suggests originality and creativity. That is a time to trust your instincts and follow through with a relationship. Follow through. In a relationship, this would say to get on with it and enjoy your life in a more lively direction and be creative with your love life, and rather than let it stagnate. In a blockage position, the Ace of Wands indicate that you are being too pushy or self-assured in your individual desires by stopping you from making headway with others. You may find that you may be taking up time in the world, but you must look carefully about your limitations. You may be up for taking on the world, but you must be looking careful. Lara, look, there you are. Know about my limitations. It's about that much, right? And then we get crazy. Should have put my glasses on. Really should put my glasses on. Okay, so what we're talking about, this is kapow energy. All right, and so with that, I'm going to pull out look, and you can see it in my Greenwood deck. This is kapow energy. This is a kapow energy. This is spark of life. This is like bang. And this is follow your dream energies. If we're looking at the Oracle Tarot, so we're following our dreams and we're really putting it out there. And the Ace of Wands, this Ace of Wands comes from the Modern Witch Tarot. Modern Witch is really interesting. It's a really nice modern. It's got like a lot of it's very big to deck for everybody, and it really takes the old Rider-Waite deck and changes it into something that is good, that a lot of witches can use. It's great. All right, so we're going to put those ones up here. Here. Like, it swaps genders, it does a whole heap of gender roles, it has a lot of, coloured people inside of this deck, and so it really is something that appeals to everything when you come to this Modern Witch Tarot. If it's something you're into, I didn't like the Rider-Waite, so it was something that I really wanted to swap over to, which is so, and I wanted something interesting. All right, so I got this Fairy Tarot deck. So I've got a couple of Fairy Tarot decks, believe it or not. This one is showing as an acorn, right? So I guess it's a thought. It's an idea, that little acorn. It's also got this pig. He's fat as a pig. He's like action. He's got it all. He's quite healthy. It's that's the how they've gone with the ace in the fairy deck. Okay. And this leaves us with a couple more, I guess, before we move on. So we've got the Ace of Inspiration, and you can see both of them. We've got the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Inspiration. And this is from the Light Seers Tarot. This is the Light Seers Tarot. Well, that is the Light Seers Tarot. And this is the Muses Tarot, like in here. So you can see that spark of inspiration coming in. It's this spark coming in. It's this spark in the middle of your mind. But we've got to take action on this. So this is an action and a doing card. If it ever turns up in a reading, it's action and it's doing, all right? And so I'm going to let's read from the Muse. Let's start with the Muse on this one. Let's read from the Muse what the Ace of Inspiration is as I directly opened up to the page. Just saying, all right? All right, so keywords: positive new beginnings, fresh inspiration, sparks of opportunity, new cycles of manifestation, the genesis of hopes and dreams, creative downloads, pushing through blocks and illuminated issues, passion, and it's called the invocation of the spark, right? So it's saying the ace pulses with electricity, inspired ideas, and shines down on the illumination of others. She offers passionate beginnings and bright musings, and all a creative fuel you need to bring into an experience, right? So we're still talking about like inspiration every time. Last but not least, I've got another fairy card in the deck. So let's see what it says in this one. The Ace of Spring. Take time. It's time to take action. See, even the fairy deck. It's time to take action. Be fearless. Be happy. Pursue your most innermost dreams. Amazing career opportunities on your way. All right. So they're all the things. If you were looking at the Ace of Fire in any deck, wand, usually, even in mine, it's a yeah. Even in the Greenwood, it's a wand. 1. So we're fire. All right, so let's move on to fire. So we've got a general G of what that is for the fire in there. All right, 1 down. All right, so this could be a bit of a long video. Maybe I'll do it as 2 because I don't like to do them too long. I don't like to have to push you if you don't want. So I might do this as 2 and then we'll do it as the other 2. All right, let's move on. So let's take these guys down. Thank you, Amethyst, for giving me that card holder. All right, so we're going to move on to air, which is often represented as swords. All right, in the Greenwood deck, it's represented as arrows. In the what have we got? The Muses deck, it's seen as voices. Like in the and what have we got? Swords. So yeah, voices as well, because it's about communication. So we're talking about communication. We're talking about our intellectual being. We're talking about our mind when we're talking. So how we communicate, we're talking about resting your mind. We're talking about meditation. We get to the frustrations. It goes through all the processes with the air, right? So with the air, it can be your nervous tension. It can be those sort of things that it's talking about. Your nerves and your stress and you rolling through this. And a lot of air signs, they might be like, oh, hey, I hear your sister, right? Where fire signs, they were like, I'm passionate, I'm action. And it's true, right? The chicks that I know that are fire, they're action. All right, this is really talking about our mind and our intellectual processes and how we deal with those things. So our mental being is what we're here for. All right, how's our mental being going on? So I will just run through a couple of cards. Let's have a look. And as we said, we've got, I'm not sure what the symbol we've got. The Gaia deck is, interestingly, I use it on my TikToks purely because I'm still getting used to what the Gaia cards actually say. And I might read, let's read from the Gaia when we do this. All right, so we have another dragon. Let's see what that symbol is. Let's ask the book, because it's actually the reason I do it with TikToks, because I'm still getting used to this deck. I love it, and I like to know what each deck's talking about. So you'll see that I sometimes throw the reading up. If you're from my Facebook page, I'll actually throw the actual book up and say, here, have a look, because I want you to see the whole of everything that's in the card and what's going on with it, because I like to explain it. So, and I also like to use, if I don't, sometimes you miss the stuff that it might say. So here we go. We got air. We got new ideas, personal truth, paradigms, originality, individualism, motivation, choices, and belief. A new personal ideology, unlearn and let go, fact and genuine knowledge, honor and personal truth. Reality is first conceived by the mind. You know your mind. Be excited, be motivated, old beliefs, and sabotaging the future. So they just write it a very different way in this Gaia oracle. And this air is our air symbol, because you can see the horizon and there's something above it, which is the air. All right, so always that's a universal air symbol if you're looking for it. All right, so that's what the Gaia oracle said. So it's short and sweet, and I like this. And you know, this deck, it's a really beautiful deck. And weirdly, if I use the animation on the TikTok, like this photo animation, it brings some of the cards alive. They're that well drawn that it picks it up as like a photo that it can bring to life. Weird. All right, so let's go through these a few. So what you might always see, you'll see a lot of birds. We see a lot of hawks with these, whenever we're looking at the air signs. All right, and we've got the vice versa deck, so we're holding our righteous sword. Quite often, whenever I see a sword, I'm like it's cutting through bullshit as well, like, and so that's my bullshit cutter, like cards, like, because the Queen of Wands, she's like not suffering any bullshit. Oh, here, and now we're flying away. This is flying onto the 2, because that's what these vice versa cards do. They fly on to the next card, so we see what is the moment we have, what's behind it in the vice versa deck. All right, and let's pull out of here. So you always see we've got a hand and a cloud, generally holding the sword inside of here, with this from the Modern Witch Tarot. And we have from the Greenwood, it's the breath of life. So this is off the actual cliffs of Dover, or wherever it is. And so he's talking about a breath of fresh air. Let me have a look at where we are. Oh, this has got aces. There we are. So So in the greenwood, the Ace of Life, Breath of Life. So it's the Uffington Chalk Hill figure, breathing vitality of life, the renewal vitality of the combination of knowledge, where we wish to be and how we wish to get there. And so you get this breath of fresh life. You get this breath of fresh life. We get to breathe in any time this turns up. So it's a new intellectual pursuit. It's opening your mind to something. And you can see this in your card, this card. It's opening your mind to this. It's opening your mind to this inside of the muse. So inside of the light seer tarot, and in the muse you can see that inspiration, that breath of fresh air, that breath of fresh air coming in. And we're talking about voices again. So we're talking about vocalizing ourselves and talking to people and with this idea. So this is an action, and this is, we're going to talk and we're going to put it out there. How do we communicate this idea and let it come in and move with it? I'm not exactly sure why we've picked the panda, and maybe because it eats little ones, but the animal tarot has, the animal totem tarot goes with the panda, and the fairy deck goes with the leaf. Isn't that cute? That's a really cute, it's a leaf. So, and what else have we got here? Status and surge, right? So it's a status and you're surging forward. Right. I'm also going to read from the light seers for this card so that we can just get around a little bit more for the air. Swords. Here we are. This is a bit of story time. If I didn't warn you at the beginning, thank you for still being here. Okay, so we have the light seer tarot. We've got new ideas, clarity, and an aha moment. Truth revealed, an awareness, heightened states of consciousness, memory or thought, communication, victory, success, triumph, and a stroke of genius. I experience moments of clarity. That's your mantra. I experience moments of clarity is the mantra. So it can be the shadow side of this. Could be over-analyzing. So a lot of time, like I don't necessarily do reverse mirror readings. There's a lot of light and deck in the lot of light and dark in the deck, and my cards didn't have it in the book, so I don't do it. Right? They've got reversed in the major arcana, but not in the minor arcana. And usually because it's just the energy retarded. So if a card turned around, it's like, this could come to you, but you're blocking it in some way, shape or form. And so we're going to read that. So you're over-analyzing, starting to get stalled and stuck and clouded in judgment, keeping the truth inside. And it's so, you're holding back from this moment. You're not activating your truth, right? Because we're looking for a status surge. And so when we're looking at this ace, you're moving forward, but in this, it's like you're over-analyzing. So, you might be getting clarity, but then you're going too far with it, right? Overthinker. I'm an overthinker. I've got a Gemini moon and an Aquarius rising air sign, so I am there with you. Don't you worry. Okay, so what do we got? The Ace of Winter. So don't be deterred by the challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly, accurately, amazing new ideas that should be implemented. Things will come your way, right? So it is the winter in this. So it is an idea. So we're sitting in that wintry phase where you gestate on those ideas and stuff that you're going to do. So that's really interesting for all of the air signs. What do we got? So I might, you know what? I'm going to keep going with these signs. We'll do it as one long video. If you're interested, you'll watch. So thank you for still being here. So I'm going to move on to the cups. Let's keep rolling on. Let's talk about cups. Cups are our emotions. Cup are our emotional life. Right? Because we're talking about the heart. We're talking about things in the heart of the matter. All right, so when we're talking about the cups, we're talking about a new beginning. Sometimes it's being attracted to your life again emotionally. Sometimes it's you embracing your love again emotionally. Quite often, it's somebody might be coming into your life. So when we see this cup, it's not necessarily attraction yet, but it might be somebody coming into your life. And we've got this beautiful statue on like with our water pouring. I've got a bird maybe, so it's a message of love because we're talking about birds. So we've got this message coming in here. And it's a dove, so it's a message of love in here. And that's what we've got in our cups. And incidentally, when we see the back of her and walk away, we get to see her bum. So thank you for that in the vice versa tarot. Oh, let's take these air down because we moved on to cups. All right, thank you, air. We've moved on. And we moved on to cups. All right, so I'm going to put you up here. All right, so we moved on to cups. I love it. Every single time it's going to be a dragon. We've got another symbol in there I definitely should be looking at. So we're talking about a new beginning. Every time we see one of these dragons, every time we see an ace, it's a new beginning in something. It's a new beginning in your passion. It's a new beginning in your intellect or your mind. Might take up meditation. It's a new beginning. It's a new love. We've got our cuppa runneth over. It's a new love in our heart. The Pentacles is a new foundation. It's a new job. It's a new practice. And it's a new foundational step where you put down your foundation. We'll get there in a second. All right, but here we are. Cuppa runneth over. And the animal totem's so cute. It's got a kingfisher. Not surprisingly, they're always dipping into the water to get their feed. And of course, in the fairy deck, we got this beautiful, cute little ace of hearts. Because it's the ace of hearts, and that is the ace of hearts traditionally. And it goes clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts. And so when we're talking about clubs is a fire, our spades is our sword. What did I say? The hearts is our emotional life, is our cup. And the diamond is our earth, is our rock. So it is our rock. There we are. So another H of Cups. You see them all reaching out again in this Witch's Tarot again and again. But here we get to the heart of the matter. Look inside of there when you see it. And these cards really are your symbol. It's like a reaching out. Here's some love, right? The cup runneth over. It's here's some love. You know, this beauty and this messenger, it's here. There's your cup. And here, she's holding her heart, right? In the CS Tarot, she's holding her heart, her beautiful heart there. And we've got she's immersing herself here. So you can see we're talking emotions inside of the Muses Tarot. And we've got our little sea. So anytime you've got water in your cards, anything that's sea-driven, we're talking about emotions. We're putting that together. All right, so let's read again from the Tarot Bible. Oh, thank you, Jemima, for your investment in my first deck and for the things that you always are. And you're just brilliant. All right, my beautiful dove. So we're seeing this again. So you see the Rider-Waite there, and you obviously see the similarities. In this, we just got more, like, our fingernails are a little bit sharper on this card. All right, so there's so many twists on this, on this journey. There's so many decks, and this is only just a short collection. I literally only have 11 here, and I can see that there's 5. There's so many out. There's so many out there. All right, so different decks, different things, but this is just a general overview of the ones that I got. All right, and the ones that you've got might have a different interpretation. Personally, I just read for the book for years. For 5 years, I read for the book, and I went back to it, right, because I wanted to know. I wanted to know what it said. All right, so Ace of Cups. When you draw the Ace of Cups in it's the early stages of love and romance are indicated. You may find that your feelings have intensified or that you are falling head over heels with someone or something. We can take it just as easily become infatuated by ideas that we can just as easily become infatuated by an idea as we are by the lover. So it's saying you can just be infatuated by the idea as much as you are by the lover. If you are attracted, there may be a strong bond developing you, and the emotional needs need to be expressed. If you draw this card, look at the aspects of your life where there might be a lacking or working for you. Are you ready? Are you really in touch with your own feelings? Is it time to open up and sympathize with others and get closer to friends, a lover, a family member? Are you giving away too freely? Because you could be giving your love. So it's two-sided. You could be getting your love, but you could be giving your love. You could be infatuated. So there's a whole things around emotions here that we're talking about, isn't it, really? All right. So if this card falls as a blockage position, it's letting you know that your emotions take over from the reality of the situation. So that would be our reversed. If you were doing a spread, and I will go through spreads inside in other videos, but if you're doing a spread with a blockage card, you are letting your emotions take over from the reality of the situation. As a you now card, cups are also suggesting that it is time to get in touch with the more spiritual aspects of your relationship. There is a strong mystical affinity in the images of the card, reminding us to let go of the divine energy into our lives. Reminding us to, it's always let go and a lot of things. Let go. All right, reminding us to let creative divine energy into our lives rather than simply attending to our ego's desires. Look at the card and see what is offered, because this card could indicate a gift, an encounter, an opportunity is there for you to take, but you must be open to the possibilities. In the future outcome position, it is merely open to you to open your eyes to see that there is a truth, or recognize that what could be yours. Whether it's gain access, deeper intimacy, or explore your own consciousness, or develop a spiritual connection. Never reject what the Ace of Cups has to offer. Another gift may be waiting on the wings of an enriched in sexual affinity with somebody. So it's sort of saying, try out love, and it's supposed to enrich you, and it's saying to never reject it, because it's meant open up that gift. Another gift might be waiting there on the other side so an insexual affinity with someone, or that you must trust in your intuition and deeper feelings that will guide you to make the choice, right? So don't look the gift horse in the mouth is what's talking there, and it's literally saying drink from the waters of life. Go out, fill your cup, right? Fill your cup up when the cup turns up. All right? It's your energy of love. We're talking new love on the horizons. All right, fill your cup up when the energy comes in. Open your heart to love, a beginning of a new intimate relationship or rebirth of a current one, a waking of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies, because we are really talking our water sprites, and a lot of our memory is held in the water. We sing to the water. In a lot of religions, they're still singing into the water so that you get the vibrations from this. All right. Apparently, I actually had the root chakra in here, so there's a bit of grounding to do with this in here. That's from that's actually from a beautiful deck called Beyond Lemuria by Izzy Ivy. Okay, and so this is our summer inside of the Fairy Tarot Oracle cards, which is a controversy in a lot of places. It's a Doreen Virtue deck, but we're just going to perhaps cross the name off it, right? But this is a fairy deck, so I really like it. Let's run with it. So, spiritual epiphanies and abilities also go with our water. They really are tuned in. You actually find that a lot of water signs are fairly psychic, and a lot of my water signs mates will jump into the love puddle like with both feet. So, take it on. Take the jump when you actually have that turn up in your readings, if you're doing readings. If you're doing readings, right? So, one more to go. We're going to talk about, let's get rid of you guys. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the table. All right. Thank you. No, it's going to be a clean up anyway. All right, just put those to the side. And you to the side, where I've been putting you guys. I'll get back on the deck. All right, so we've got pentacles. Usually plain. Alright, so this is Golden Tarot. This was actually the first tarot that was put out there. There's a card in it they think that Leonardo da Vinci got to do with death and perspective. There's actually a few cards that actually he's involved with. And it comes out of Renaissance Italy, but there's formations of it before. It turns around as everything always does. But we're talking about Pentacles. We're talking about King Solomon. Actually, this sort of goes back. Pentacles is where it comes from, which is where we get our money from and our coin. He was the first one to actually play with people instead of slay them. But that's where we get our pentacle. It's probably where we get our symbol from, the Star of David. So same sort of stuff. And so it's in there. Same sort of stuff. Right, so we got it. It's hard to even tell which side's the front or back of this one. Here we've got our farm. We're buying our farm. Maybe we're buying our block of land. Maybe you're making an investment into something. The fruits of your labor are coming your way. Money perhaps going to cross your palm. So it may be a windfall is coming through when you come through with an Ace of Pentacles. A new foundation, something that can start a new foundation, might be Lotto, right? Because it's new. It's bang, all right? We've got it. It's not necessarily usually a sparky energy. Sometimes it's a build energy, so it's a fruit of your labor, and it's something you may have invested in. But on one side we see the farm, on the other side we see the city inside of this. So it's got a business aspect to it inside of this. We see what's going on, and there's also, getting out into the people. Very practical, methodical, very practical, earthy things. It could be about grounding yourself, root chakra stuff. Could be about grounding yourself when it turns up, but it is about laying a foundation. If we come down here and our beautiful foundation stones for our druid, might be prehistoric, but laying your foundation, your milestone. You see your milestones in life. Every one of those is usually you would put a block to say this is a foundation stone when you look back as well. So you can look back on your foundations and go here, there. And we get to the 9, we talk about traditions, and the 9 is sort of the finish technically, because 10 is 1 and 0. And we get to the 9 and you see all 9 standing stones standing there, and that you're sitting inside of them really looking at the traditions yourself. And it's actually can be seen as a single card, the 9, but it's really talking about what are the traditions you made yourself. And that's got to do with all of the stones that you placed along the way to actually get there, right? And your foundations. And everybody knows when you put down a foundation house for the house, you put down a foundation stone. So we're talking new career moves, and you see it in that card with the wings, stuff coming in. So it might be making new business plans, talking new business. You might, if you were talking business in a reading, you would generally have air come up. If it was going to get passionate about your business, you would have fire come up around this card, and generally don't mix love and business if you ask me personally. Anyway, so we have our dragon. Our green dragon, not surprisingly, in the middle of all of that. And again, we go pentacles. Usually it's just going to be seen with the pentacles. Sometimes it's going to be seen as stones. Beautifully, this industrious, we see it as a dung beetle in the animal totem deck. Really cute. And we see it as these little bells, ringing bells maybe, getting some action going on with this rabbit who, fertile action. And that's what we see inside for the fire side, for the earth sign, the earth element. The earth element, again, we're reaching out 2 hands, more pentacles inside of the light seer. Very different inside of the light seer to the muses. The muses is showing a very fertile mind. We're showing a fertile blooming. Right, so something's coming out. There's a very fertile abundance inside of that. Of course, again, the hand reaching out with the coin from the cloud. Who would not, he's not surprised in that. Right, I am going to give us a little bit of reading, and let's take it from, let's actually take it from the Oracle Tarot just for fun, because it's sitting there with its book hanging out. Let's see. Usually when you're reading the books, you might actually find that the aces are not the aces. The readings in the books can be actually really short for the minor arcana. So you may not find an in-depth reading in the book that you get for it, or sometimes they might give you a full paragraph. Sometimes they might give you a full lead in. Let's see what we got. Ace of Coins. This is a truly auspicious card. Take thoughts of This is a truly auspicious card. I started really excited in there. If you like the thought of financial blessings, the universe is sending you plenty of growth and growth energy right now. That can mean if you want it to, a revival of financial health. For some, it could signify that it is a better paid, exciting new job. Yes, those clouds are brewing. Did have a silver lining. You could enjoy some of those good things, fine wines and delightful outings. Investments may be simple, delights like clothing that might make you feel special. Remember, though, that love makes the material worthwhile. So enjoy the sensuality of it all, right? So we live in a feeling of abundance. Enjoy the sensualness of it all, of the material that you might get a new dress. This saying, you might find a beautiful new dress. That's an investment. You might find a great pair of shoes. I find great pairs of shoes all the time. They're an investment. Going to walk in them for a few years. They're an investment, right? Good linen. You ask me, that's an investment, right? I'm a Capricorn at heart. All right, so I'm an earth sign at heart with my airy, fiery background. All right, so enjoy it. Enjoy it with the senses. Enjoy it not as just like a material world. Add your love to it, right? And look at those outings, and it may be simple delights. Enjoying the good things in life are that, and it also might be a better paid job. So let's see. All right, so to wrap this up, we actually have the last fairy card. Thank you very much. And it is autumn in this deck. A windfall of money, advice, assistance from others, a very helpful, very successful project, a happy change in your career. Always going to be. All right, so enjoy the sensuality of it all, because life is worth living, and that's what it's all about. So I hope you enjoyed this, a little bit of a walkthrough of the aces of the 11 decks that I have. I have a few more sitting there, but these are the selection that I thought would not be too much of an overload. So I hope that actually was helpful for you. Obviously, ask questions. Don't be afraid to read the books. Don't be afraid to buy your own deck. And I really would love to hear from you. I'm gonna do a whole different things about spreads that you'll see, connecting cards, how we might read connecting cards, and obviously I put out a few readings. I try to do them regularly sometimes, but this is sort of moving forward. So a bit of a progressive energy. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, if you had to watch it in parts, I understand. And I might actually put timestamps in it so we can timestamp through where each individual card is in the actual readings. Probably a good idea at this point. So I hope that you are well and safe wherever you are. And as normal, I will catch you on the flip side.